With 2026 now here, the push for AI literally being in everything is only seemingly getting worse and worse every single day. And I'm going to be honest, I'm tired, boss. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the AI slop. More specifically, and relating to this video, is Microsoft's push of it, not just in gaming, but also in Windows, to the point where I'm still on Windows 10 because I can't stand the amount of AI slop, or as the internet is now coining the term, micro slop to Microsoft, because this is literally what it is. Microsoft has become micro slop and doubling, tripling down on AI and trying to have every single one of their programs of Windows 11 have AI somehow integrated in it, as well as an Xbox in their games. And in this video, I'm going to do my best to kind of break down why not only I am, but across the entire internet, people are so sick and tired of this push for AI and why Microsoft is getting called out for it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And I'm going to actually start off with Windows 11 because I think this is the bigger overlying problem now, because Windows 11 has really shown to be a disaster. And I don't even know where to start. From the countless SSD failures that have been reported, to lower performance in games, to straight up just crashes and bugs and shit missing. Like Microsoft Paint is no longer included in Windows 11. You have to go to the store and sign up with an account. And then there's the Copilot, which is their version of an AI assistant that I literally uninstalled off of on Windows 10 because they started it in 10, but 11 is when it's really become egregious. But then there was Recall, a feature that Microsoft added in Windows 11 that screenshotted everything that you did. For some stupid reason, I think it's because it's pretty obvious as to why that is. It's because they want the control. You know, Big Brother's watching you, for all you 1984 fans there. You know, Big Brother's watching all your movements and making sure that you are staying in line or not causing too much of a ruckus. We can't have that. Oh no, oh no. Honestly, this is just so dystopian. I mean, I brought up 1984, but I'm going to say it again. If you haven't seen the movie with John Hurt or read the book, this is literally taking things right out of that and implementing them into real life, which, I mean, we've all been noticing that for the last couple of years, but I mean, this is just no stranger to that. It only seems more and more ways for big tech to get its grip and control on what we want to do and how we want to live our lives. And it's because there was a time when the internet, you didn't want to share your private information on there all the time. And now, over the many years, it now feels like we have to. And sure, you don't have to go to Windows 11. You could stay on Windows 10. There's these debloater tools that you can get across the internet to help kind of remove some of the programs, or just straight up remove Copilot, which is what at least I did. And Windows 10 still does get security updates, and they will until October of this year through the Extended Security Updates program, which I'm going to use until hopefully by then they'll get this figured out. If not, I'm sure people in the community are going to find ways to remove all the bloat that Microsoft has. But it's just stupid that Windows 11 has literally turned into this. It's Windows 8 all over again, instead of, you know, what Windows 8 did, trying to turn it into a mobile app looking thing. With Windows 11, they're just shoving AI everywhere and telling us that we need to just accept it. You know, you have the CEO basically coming out saying that we need to stop calling it slop. You know, AI is supposed to be this new thing that needs to be championing and amazing, and we need to stop fighting back against this change. And now the internet's calling them micro slop, which I'm going to start doing now at this rate. And sure, AI isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, I've used it. I've even used it to help get ideas and things figured out. But it should be a tool, not something to replace people for the sake of saving money, which is what Microsoft has been trying to do, and other big companies out there have been trying to do, and it's been a disaster. I mean, Windows 11 has literally just been a failure across the board, and even going into games. I mean, I've talked about it on this channel, on how Game Pass has had their prices increased like crazy, and how they are forcing developers to use AI, whether they like it or not. And it's becoming clear-cut and evident, especially with Black Ops 7, that it's just not even being hidden anymore. It's just straight up out there on full display as a way of championing change or changing the very industry that we are a part of. And, you know, in their eyes, they think it's going to be for the better because it's this new cool tech that we're all going to just love automatically because it makes our lives so much easier. Well, it hasn't really. I mean, if this stuff was optional, a lot of people, even myself, wouldn't have an issue with that. I mean, Mozilla Firefox literally is allowing AI into their web browser, but they're not going to force it, which I think is the appropriate way to do it. I mean, just make it an option. You know, forcing us to use it or just accept it isn't going to make us want it. And clearly, this isn't working because people are straight up wanting to stay on Windows 10 or go to Linux. Now, I go to Linux. The issue is compatibility with some games I play, specifically older ones. I think there would be a compatibility sort of issue. Now, there are different versions of Linux and builds or whatever they're called that you can download and get working. And there are some ones out there that I've heard are easy to set up. So if push comes to shove by the end of this year, or October this year rather, when the security updates end, if Microsoft just isn't getting it together, I might have to make that jump. And I hope that Windows 11 at least can get it under control somehow, or at the very least I can try it and use the deep loading kind of tools and stuff out there. Maybe that could help, but I don't know. It's kind of such a whole up in the air argument that's been going on. And unfortunately, console players, they don't have it easier. You know, at least us on PC, we have a choice. But console players, specifically Xbox in the context of this, you guys don't really have much of a choice. And that kind of stinks in a way. And I just don't understand this push for AI and how it's just so being forced upon. I mean, I know the president has been wanting to push for AI innovation, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. You can't force change like this. I mean, already doing this AI stuff forces power companies to put more power into it, which leads to higher electric bills, not just for the companies that are, doing this and, requiring these upcharges in electricity, but it's adding more on the bills to the people in the community. And people aren't happy about it. They're really pissed about this. They're either saying you need to directly charge the companies or don't bring these AI stations into our town. So clearly, the tech is not up to snuff like it should be to really make this a nice natural change or transition. So what worries me is how this is going to affect the industry at large. I mean, at least Steam, you now have to have a disclaimer mandatory to show if your game uses AI. Black Ops 7 has this disclaimer. So it's at least a start so that we know what game has actually got AI slop in it compared to other things. Because, again, I need to stress, I'm not against AI existing. It should be a tool, not something to replace people. We all have used it on some level at this point, and I don't think it's a bad thing that it exists. But this forced mandate does not work. It never works. And Microslop needs to learn that you need to stop doing this. You need to stop forcing Windows 11 to have these AI features as a way to make people get used to them and that, oh, it's hip and cool, you'll like it, you'll love it. Because it isn't working. We're not going to like this thing no matter how hard you shove it down our throats. So here's to hopefully Windows 11 and Xbox doesn't go down this proverbial rabbit hole of slop, or AI slop rather, but time will tell. So that's all I really have to say in this video. If you like what I had to say, then feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to know when I post another video. I usually post a new video every Friday at around 6:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. I also live stream every Saturday at 6 p.m., again, Central Standard Time. I am going to be spicing things up a little bit. I have decided that I'm going to dual stream on both YouTube and Twitch. And then I might try Kick later on, just as a way to kind of get the streaming a little bit jump-started. Because I feel like streaming on YouTube is still going to be the main way I'm going to stream. But Twitch, I want to give it a try. Let's see. Because I'm not the biggest fan of Twitch and their policies and everything, but I'm willing to give it a shot if it can help. And if I don't really like Twitch later on, I'll go on to Kick and we'll try that. But it's just an experimenting. I am also not going to be streaming on Rumble anymore. It's kind of a hassle to get set up every single time, and it's not really netting much views, if anything, or helping my growth on there too much. So I've kind of just decided I'm just going to not really stream on Rumble anymore, for at least for now. So anyway, I'll see you guys with another video.